I don't want to be your typical cookie-cutter color analyst. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but
no, that's a great tangent for me.
I want to be different. I want people to turn on the TV. First of all, learn something, teach them something, have some fun.
Where'd you grow up, Mark?
Joliet, Illinois, south of Chicago.
Okay, so who did you listen to when you were growing up?
Harry Carey, Jack Brickhouse. I believe you're a product of your environment. Socially, what type of neighborhood you live in, what type of sports you listen to.
Influences professionally.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit, I'm a clown on the air. I like to have fun. It's baseball, people. Where's the camera?
It's a game.
It's baseball. It's not rocket science. You know, it's not rocket science. I listen to Jack Brickhouse. Biggest homer out there. Harry Carey. Biggest homer out there, right?
But neither one of them were afraid. The point I was making, we've had this discussion, and he's spent his life in television, and I've spent my life watching and
ripping
listening.
television.
Yeah, not really. I've stayed back in that.
I'm kidding.
But I think one of the biggest problems in baseball, and they're talking about shortening the game. People who go to the games don't care how long it takes. As I've said to him, people leave when they want to leave. If they want to leave in the seventh inning, they leave.
Right.
I mean, it's baseball's set up where you can leave. You could have left last night 20 minutes after you got to the game. I think teams are missing today what existed when you were a kid, when he was a kid, and I'm far older than both of you, but I grew up listening to Harry Carey, Jack Buck, and Joe Garagiola.
Yeah.
That was a threesome in St. Louis. I mean, Vince Scully, the personality he has, but it's professional. But his personality, that what's happening in baseball that's bothering me is I don't think kids are going to grow up and say, oh man, I listen to X and Y,
right,
because everybody's now controlled by the team, and the team doesn't want them to say anything outside the box.
How much are you handcuffed?
It's vanilla.
That's a good question. I'm not, and because I think I don't know all the answers, but I've learned through osmosis and through the years what to do, what not to do. See, I'm more half full than a half empty, right? I've got to be critical when I need to be critical because I can't insult the intelligence of the people at home. If something happens poorly, you've got to. But the difference is, I think there's a difference between doing this to a player and doing that. I'll do that. I'll say that play's got to be made. In fact, here I'll even say, boy, you know, Clint Barmas, since he's a hometown favorite here. Former Rocky. Boy, you know, that's a play I think Clint Barmas really wants back. I'll bet you if you asked him after the game, should he have made that play? He should have made that play. No, I'm not the bad guy. You know, I'm not going to be sitting there and say, boy, how can that play not be made? You got to be kidding me. That play's got to be made. That's a major league shortstop. That's just not my style.
But that's okay. I mean, what you're saying is, you know, I'll tell you, and see, you have a thing with me, and I'll shut up about this. But I'm watching the pregame show last night to get ready to go on, and one of the persons on that show, and I'm not trying to pick on somebody, says, "Well, it's so good to get back home where you're going to play in front of 40,000 people." Well, you think I'm an idiot because I can see behind you, because you're out in center field, that there were 10,000 people there last night. So.
Dinger counts for 2, though.
No, Dinger counts.
With that size of the head
that
thing's got.
If Dinger were here, you know that knife you stuck in?
But anyway, I feel in Woody, in your writing and the way, you know, you're on TV and stuff, I think there's the point I'm trying to make is you have to be true to yourself. You know your personality. You know how you shine. You know what your strengths are. You know what your weaknesses. I know certainly what my weaknesses are, and I think I know what my strengths are. And I just try to stay positive. I try to keep it real and have some fun along the way. I mean,
and that's great. And I hope that iHeartRadio, because now you are open to where people can hear you all over the country, on streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I really miss that in Pittsburgh. Who's the guy in Pittsburgh?
Greg Brown?
No, the old. In the old days.
He wore the wild jackets.
Oh, Lenny Ferteri?
I don't.
Bob Prince?
Bob Prince. Thank you.
The Gunner.
No more calls. We have a winner. But every town had their unique.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I go to towns and I listen to guys and I go, they all sound alike. I mean, Hawk Harrelson, and whether you like him or not.
I love Hawk, by the way.
Bob Uecker is unique.
Love him.
That Jack Buck was such a professional, but he always worked with somebody. Steve Stone does a great job. He's a good friend of Les's. Steve Stone gives you a perspective that is truthful and is good and professional, and I think you can do that because I just watch wherever I might be, and I watch and I go, man, don't you have the balls to actually say what's going on the field in front of you?
Exactly. And another thing I'm big on is accountability. I am so hung up on if I make a mistake, I want to immediately correct it, whether it's my producer or director or the next half inning, find out statistically or whatever, grammatically, whatever. I'm just big on that.
Well, it's endearing to the fans.
I just don't want to be hung out there.
They know you're trying to get it right.
I'm big on that.
And they'll forgive you.
And he's not really a homer, but he does wear a San Diego Padres pin instead
I do.
of an American
in fact,
lapel.
Woody, you can have this if you want.
Oh gosh,
Look at that.